welcome to the Rap Attack podcast, the Rankings Attack podcast. I'm Sam.
I'm Shane.
And we're back for you. We're back for you with another podcast. We can start that one again, but we're not going to. We thought we'd do a couple of podcasts going into the off season because fuck it, we've got a lot more time now. Nothing to do in terms of sort of fantasy. We'll get into the fantasy much later, I think, when we know post draft, post free agency, and everything like that. I mean, there's things to talk about which we might come back to you on in a couple of weeks' time, but we thought we'd catch up. We might talk a little bit about the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Because we had the Super Bowl preview one and or the Super Bowl for dummies.
And there was a Super Bowl, right?
And there was a Super Bowl, although really not a classic.
I've already forgotten about it.
Exactly. It's not one that's going to live long in the memory. And then we're going to hit you up with some stuff on the new offensive coordinators and new head coaches. Some things that we think might be interesting going into the off-season, going into new season when it comes to fantasy impact, but also, you know, real life NFL impact,
right.
I think.
Mostly digging deep to talk about football.
Exactly, because we're already starved of it after 7 days without it or something like that.
Yeah, I know. We're lost in space.
I think it's only 7 days till the Combine, though.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
Free agency starts beginning of March.
What is this whole thing with the Combine? They're banning players who have some kind of domestic abuse
Any
records.
type of domestic abuse record, you're banned from it. But it doesn't mean to say you can't be drafted.
Okay.
It doesn't mean to say that you can't meet people outside the Combine. It just means to say you can't go to the Combine, which is therefore totally useless.
A PR stunt that's plastered on my memory.
Yeah,
Look,
exactly.
The NFL's doing something.
Exactly. The NFL is doing something. Exactly.
God.
Whilst, meantime, the god of all gods, Peyton Manning, issues have resurfaced over him doing naughty things at Tennessee.
Yeah.
All of this is allegedly. And I doubt he's going to be listening, nor his lawyers, but you never know. He did it.
It was him. Anyways, yeah, I mean, the Al Jazeera report, these reports all adding up. I don't think we'll see Peyton next year.
No, I mean, I'd be very surprised if he came back. There's no reason for him to come back.
Shocked. Yeah,
I mean, really.
Although, I mean, in his defense, it was quite classy of him not to say, this is my last game.
No.
I really think, I mean, he did the right thing in saying, no, I mean, I'll see what happens in the after the game, blah, blah, blah. So the whole focus wasn't on him.
I think that was probably good. Plus, I think I was listening to one of the other podcasts and they were saying that they thought that actually the Broncos were being quite classy and saying, we're going to leave it up to Peyton. Obviously, they're not expecting him back, but given what he's done for them, he came in, he gave them 3 seasons, they got to 2 Super Bowls.
I would love to see him coming back and see what Denver does. Denver's gonna be like, okay, we'll pay you $20.
Well, yeah, exactly. No, I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they pay him. He'd have to go to somewhere like Tennessee.
Yeah, exactly.
I think,
Yeah.
and back up Mariota. But then, who's going to get that?
LA, dude, he'll go to the Rams.
It's actually someone was saying someone else might go. No, I was reading that the possibilities of RG3 going to the Rams.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you remember, they were the ones that traded their first picks, and they had all those fantastic draft picks that they got out of it because they got Quinn. I can't remember who else they got. They got
in a
Robert
weird
Quinn.
alternate universe, he'll be going back to the Rams, which he could have been doing,
Which he could have done already. So they would have got all of those draft picks. If you remember, Jeff Fisher ended up trolling the Redskins about it.
Oh yeah, before the kickoff.
Exactly. So they could end up with all of those picks that were successful plus the original pick, and it would only make sense if he went and did something, especially in in a market like LA.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's their other option? Nick Foles
at the moment. Yeah, or Austin Davis.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, let's go on to it. So the Super Bowl, not a classic.
No.
Did
he stay awake?
No, I didn't stay awake.
In Sam's defense, it ends at 4:30 in the morning here, right?
Yeah. Not a hardcore.
I did make it to the end.
If it was the 49ers, I may have watched it, but if it was for the Panthers, no. So, was it a question of Denver doing well, or did Carolina crap the bed on the night?
I'm going to say Carolina crapped the bed.
Yeah.
I don't think they played well. I think Cam Newton played
or at least
awful.
up to their potential.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just looking at his throws, especially in the first half, I mean, he was overthrowing so many targets.
Yeah.
He didn't have any help, don't get me wrong. I mean, there was a couple drop balls.
Jin wasn't helping.
Exactly. There was other drop ball by...
Kocheri?
The one that was going to be overturned. Was
exactly. Yeah.
Which was a catch, by the way. What is a goddamn catch? Can anybody tell me?
No,
but
not even the NFL.
I
have a conspiracy theory about the catch rule.
Okay.
If you get rid of the controversy, what are you going to write about? What are you going to watch? What are you going to get people doing NFL interviews for on all these news problems? It adds to the controversy. It's just like in soccer where they said, okay, we don't want video replays of goals because that takes away some of the chaos and the fun
of course, when people analyze it later, right?
Exactly.
Looking at it. What if?
Exactly. You take away all those what ifs, it's half, you take away half the fun of the football.
I do agree. And yeah, you're right. Like, so when you were waiting for the results of the instant replay, we don't know what the answer is.
Exactly.
This is the whole point. They want you to be.
It's deliberately vague. It's deliberate. I think it's deliberately vague, and it deliberately obfuscates everything, and it's more compelling that way.
No, I do agree. I agree that that's probably one of the reasons, my friend. Conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy theory. Anyway, so back to the game. So Cam didn't play well.
No.
Also, Denver's. We got to say, Denver's D. They hustled him more than any other team did.
Yes.
They hit him 7 or 8 times, which is more than he got hit the whole season. Or
sacked. Definitely more than the whole season. Any game. For sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, Cam didn't play well. The defense. Okay, Denver's defense is really good.
Yeah.
Historically great? No. I don't think so. I mean, Von Miller is historically great, I think.
DeMarcus Ware played out of his mind.
DeMarcus Ware played out of his mind as well. I mean, those two guys are really good. They got some good linebackers, a decent secondary, but yeah, they were good.
Yeah.
And Von Miller was great, and DeMarcus Ware was really good. I just think it was, I mean, there was a couple of fumbles, like the Tolbert fumble when they were finally getting the ball rolling. And I was so excited to see Tolbert with the ball, too. Like, the bowling ball. And 10 yards. He's like, doing good. And also the ball popped out. Yeah. It's like, the whole game was like that.
It was
I
a
get a little
scrappy
excited.
game.
Yeah, I get excited for a moment. And then literally, the next moment, I'd be like, that sucks.
I mean, it was the total opposite of last year's game.
Yeah.
Which was exciting all the way down to the end.
Built up. This one just kept having moments of you thought maybe the game is going to get better. And then... some crappy play happened.
Petered out.
Yeah, I had a couple of friends over to watch. One fell asleep on the couch. The other one's a Polish guy. I don't think he even knew what was happening half the time. Because, I mean, there was no flow, right?
No, there wasn't. There was
no flow even to, say, what, I didn't even bother to explain what was happening. No. It's just like,
whatever.
Yeah.
And Beyonce at halftime?
I thought Beyonce was the best of the bunch, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? I mean, no offense on Coldplay at all against Coldplay, but
actually, quite a lot of offense to Coldplay.
I wasn't a big fan of watching that guy jump around and the tie-dye colors and stuff swirling around.
It's not great.
But I have to admit that I kind of even missed the whole Black Panthers thing when I was watching it live.
I didn't pick that straight up live. I saw it as a very political thing, especially when I then went back and actually watched
the video, right?
Watched the original video and the lyrics as well.
I hadn't seen the video.
Neither
I hadn't heard anything about it.
Because it was only been released 2 days before.
Yeah, exactly. I have to admit that I've been noticing on Facebook there's a TV channel in America called The Blaze.
Okay.
And it's very conservative, very right wing, and people in my home province in Canada actually watch it and consider it news. And there's this girl who is attacking Beyonce constantly.
Yeah.
And I can't even imagine the mindset of people back home anymore. I couldn't go home anymore.
I can't go home anymore.
Because, I mean, sure, Beyonce had something to say, and she said it.
Sure.
And it's her right.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the 40th anniversary of the Black Panthers founding.
Yeah, 40th, yeah, something like that.
I mean, there was reasons. There's the whole Black Lives Matter. It
makes sense. Why not?
I think it's a great thing.
I think it was fantastic. And if you watch that video, it's got bits of Katrina. It's got her dressed up as some antebellum slave owner in places. There's a lot of visuals there.
Yeah, and there is, like I say, there is a forum for her to speak to do this, right? And so I enjoyed the show. I am happy that she did it, and I'm really, really upset the attacking that's happening. It's beyond. I can't even get to it.
It is.
And then Bruno Mars.
Bruno Mars is Bruno Mars.
Commercials.
Didn't see him. No, I didn't see. The only one I saw was actually the only one I saw was the Seal official NFL one with the Super Bowl babies.
Okay, yeah.
Which was, I thought, quite funny, but really,
yeah, it was well done.
Yeah, exactly.
The only one I laughed out loud at was the Doritos one. I don't know if you saw.
No, I haven't seen it.
So the husband is at the wife's side she's about to give birth. Well, no, not about to give birth. She's just getting a test done.
Okay. Like a scan, ultrasound.
Yeah, ultrasound, exactly. And he's eating Doritos while this is happening. And so you can see the image of the baby, or the unborn, I shouldn't say baby, the fetus. You can see the fetus moving towards the chip as he's eating. And of course the wife turns to the husband and says, "What are you doing eating those chips in the hospital, right?" And so she grabs the bag and throws it.
Yeah.
And of course the fetus flies out of her womb after it. It was one of those moments I was like, are they going to do this? They just did
They did it.
And it actually was like shocking laugh kind of thing. Kind of like spit the root beer out of your nose. Kind of but apparently even they got attacked, because
really?
This is humanizing the fetus. This is why I said I shouldn't say baby. So these are pro-abortion groups. Pro-choice groups. God,
right.
Slips of the tongue all over the place. I'm becoming conservative. So pro-choice groups saying that by humanizing the fetus, you are making the anti-abortion argument stronger. Yeah.
For the listeners, Sam has closed his eyes and started to sigh.
I can see why people hate liberals sometimes.
It's just...
I can see it. They don't help themselves.
No, it's stuff like that. It makes you think, oh, God, get a sense of humour.
Yeah, it really...
You do not help yourselves. You're saying exactly the right things, just in a very bad way.
Yeah, so commercials, okay. Halftime show, okay. Game, awful.
Game, awful. Okay.
Look at D-, right?
Yeah, it's not one that's going to live long in the memory, I don't think.
No. I mean, I'm even slightly happy for Peyton if he goes out into the sunset, but still, not even that's anywhere near worth the pain of those 3.5 hours.
No, I think so.
Anyway, should we move on?
Let's move on. So we'll start, I think, with the head coaches.
All right.
And then
lots of changes.
Lots of changes, absolutely.
Yeah, we've been taking a look at the number of changes over the last few years, and it's shocking.
It's ridiculous. So there's 6 new head coaches this season, which is about actually an NFL average.
Yeah, a little under average.
I guess so. So I was doing some very quick maths because maths is not my strong point. Since the start of the 2013 season. So 3 whole seasons, essentially. Mm-hmm. There have been 21 new coaches. So 21 of the current 32 teams have a coach that's only been in place for 3 whole seasons or less.
Yeah, exactly.
Which means you've only got 11 coaches who have had over 3 seasons experience in their current job.
Right, and so, I mean...
It's massive turnover.
You're thinking about the level of turnover and the level of inconsistency, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you look at the teams that have the consistency or have the teams with the longest tenured coaches. Yeah, and obviously the reason... I mean, I think there's kind of it's a virtuous cycle there because...
Cause effect has been tough.
It's absolutely cause effect because you're going to stay in your job if you do well. But also... It's those teams that do well are the ones that keep with a coach
for a longer
and I think we see that with the Panthers. Sure. If you think about Riverboat Ron, he didn't do so well in those first 2 seasons. And
they stuck with him.
They said, all right, he's the guy for us, and look what's happened the last 2 years.
Yeah,
I think
amazing.
3 straight divisional championships now.
It's amazing. He's actually one of the longest tenured head coaches.
He is, and he's only been in there since 2012?
Yeah, 2011. Not that long, right?
Not
but he's
at
in
all.
the top quarter, probably, of tenured coaches, right? Which is kind of amazing in a way, no? And then, we were looking at the other teams who've had coaches for longer, right? Yeah.
So he's had 5 seasons. Rivera's had 5 seasons.
We could always throw the Cowboys out, right?
Right. So 2010, Pete Carroll.
Yeah, you got Pete Carroll, the Seahawks. You got a team you want to emulate, yeah? John Harbaugh with the Ravens, all right, up and down, but still...
they've won the championship in that time.
They've won a Super Bowl, and they're still a team that people would like to be like, right?
Exactly, 6 playoff berths.
Steelers, Tomlin.
Exactly, 1 Super Bowl championship.
Exactly. McCarthy.
So, hang on. Seahawks, Ravens, Steelers, Packers,
McCarthy,
Saints
with Peyton. Okay, all right, up and down, but again,
but still Super Bowl championship.
Bengals with Marvin Lewis,
AFC North championship. So actually, the Bengals are the interesting one here because they're the only ones out of that list of 10 teams or something like that. And the Cowboys, but
we don't count the Cowboys.
Which we don't count the Cowboys. That actually don't have even a Super Bowl appearance.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's because they lose in the first round.
Sure, which is what they do.
And of course, the Patriots, Belichick.
Yeah, 4 Super Bowl championships, 6 AFC championships since 2000. So I mean, it's really, it's crazy. It's a massive turnover. But you kind of think teams that you could go through something like this. Jay Gruden. If he has a bad season, is he going to get canned?
Yeah, he was going to be gone midway through this year. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Chuck Pagano probably should have been gone this year. You'd expect. Jeff Fisher, God knows how he's still got his job after going 8-8 or 7-9 for the last
10 years.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, there you go. Absolutely nothing in the playoffs since he's been there. Garrett's could have got canned back end or 2 seasons ago. But
Agreed. Oh God, he's got a winning record. Who would have guessed? 45 and 43. Exactly.
Gus Bradley. But this is the interesting one with Gus Bradley. So Gus Bradley has a 12-36 record in 3 seasons, which is so that's a 2.5. Sorry, it's a 250 winning percentage, which is awful. but they're not canning him. Right. And if you look at the way they played this season, there's lots to be.
Yeah, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
If they can do something with their offensive line and their secondary, I think.
So he's the guy that in like 3 years we'll be talking about going, well, amazing that Jacksonville stuck with him. Look what they did. Kudos
I'd like to think so. I mean, I think he's probably living on borrowed time at the moment.
Oh,
but
sure, yeah.
I think if he gets them, he could get them into the playoffs this year without a problem. I think they've got a strong enough team there.
Oh yeah, got in that division.
It's Titans, it's Colts, and it's I can't remember.
Yeah, but I mean, it all depends, of course, on luck, right?
Sure.
I mean, luck in two ways.
The
guy and the spirit.
Yeah, and the spirit.
I suppose.
The abstract concept.
Yeah.
So
new head coach.
Yeah, I'm glad that Jacksonville has stuck with him for 3 seasons and a 4th season. So they might. I think fair enough. 5 years is fine. I think.
I'm becoming a Jacksonville fan.
Exactly.
I'm on the bandwagon.
Me too.
I think I keep saying it every year, though.
I'd like to see him move to London.
So let's look at the point ahead.
So let's go through it. So
new head coach.
Yeah, let's start with the Browns because it's the Browns.
And they're the easiest to start with because we never talk about the Browns.
Exactly.
Unless it's Gary Barnage.
No, okay, unless it's Gary Barnage. So
the new head coach is
Hugh Jackson. Mm-hmm. So he's crossed the Ohio River.
Mm-hmm. Taking the place of Mike Patton.
Yeah. To take the place of Mike Patton, who really didn't have a good time, I don't think.
Yeah, he's never hit it off after coming for the Jets, right?
Nah, not really.
Too much controversy, too many problems with the guy.
Exactly.
And the quarterback who nobody can seem to control.
Oh, that one. The guy who's going to be lucky if he sees his 25th birthday.
Exactly. Yeah, so Hugh Jackson coming over from Cincinnati.
From Cincinnati, right? who was their OC for the last 2 seasons, and I think we can see he's got a lot of good things going on. I mean, it helps if you've got the offensive weapons, but he's had Bengals. He's had the Red Rocket, Rifle, whatever you kind of call him. The Red Rocket. That sounds like a vibrator. It probably is. So he's got Andy there. He's got AJ Green, who's a top 10 wide receiver, probably.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. 2 great running backs, right?
Tyler Eifert,
great tight end. A couple other decent wide receivers as well, right?
And I think we saw last season that was an offense that really clicked.
Yeah, of course. But I think here, I mean, it's important to stress he's coming to Cleveland. So
he's coming to Cleveland. The question
would be...
You
don't have Giovanni Bernard there.
You don't.
You don't have AJ Green there.
No, you've got people like Isaiah Crowell, etc., etc.
Yeah, who are, usable dudes.
Usable. You got Josh Gordon coming back.
Okay.
Theoretically.
Well, he'll be back.
Well, he's applied for reinstatement.
Well, that could be a game changer.
It could be. So you got that. They need a quarterback. It'll be interesting to see who they get.
Who will they get?
Well, Kaepernick possibly, depending if he stays in Frisco, maybe.
I have no even idea.
I mean, I think that's something that they've got to address in the draft.
Obviously, yeah.
But what do you reckon? Can you see him doing well in Cleveland, or at least sticking around for 3 seasons?
Well, they're going to have to again patience, which I don't think the Browns are known for. Yeah.
No.
I mean,
Haslam,
I'm curious
really.
to look at how many head coaches they've had in the last 10 years, right?
God, I don't know.
I would bet 3, right, if not 4.
Oh God, they seem to change it every kind of 2 or 3 years.
There's not a lot of patience, like we said here.
No,
right?
not really.
They're one of the classic franchises that they're trigger happy almost, right? Which. And you can't blame them when you have the history of the Browns. Right?
Exactly.
Losing history, that is. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how long they stick with him, right?
There you go.
So since 2010, they've had Mangini, Schurmer,
Chudzinski, Petty, and Jackson.
So yeah, it's
5 and 6 years.
It's a merry-go-round, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
God, 1 year, 2 years. God, yeah, nobody's been there for more than 2 years.
Chudzinski had
Nobody's been there for more than 2 years.
No, exactly. So it's not surprising.
And even before that, you've had one guy
Cornell
for
3 years, Robisky 3 years, 3 years, 1 year.
Yeah, I can't see them having much success in their first year. And they're probably going to have a new quarterback, probably a rookie quarterback, right?
Yeah, I would expect so.
So, first year, no. They got to have some patience, and hopefully they will commit. And because in a few years, I mean, Hugh Jackson does obviously have input, right?
Yeah, I think
positive,
so.
Right? I like him as an offensive coordinator, at least.
No, he did some good stuff.
So, yeah, I mean, this year, no. Long-term possibility.
Yeah, I would say so. I think, definitely. So let's move on to the Dolphins, who they canned Philbin, halfway through the season.
Yeah.
And they had Dan, whatever his name was. Not Dan Quinn. Dan Campbell?
Yeah.
Whatever,
I think so.
Dan Campbell. Mm-hmm. The seriously buff tight ends coach who came in. They got rid of him because although he won his first 2 or 3 games, he then kind of petered out I think. So they brought in Adam Gase, who is kind of seen as this great new hope, young guy. I think he's only just 30 or something like that, or 33. Yeah, he's definitely young. Previously, last season, he was at the Bears. He was OC at the Bears, and before that, he was Denver OC 2 seasons ago.
So he had a number one offense.
He had number one offense. He had number one offense, and last year, he didn't have a number one offense, but he had Jay Cutler.
Yeah, doing stuff, right? I mean, Chicago never contended all year, so I didn't pay much attention to them. But it seemed like their offense clicked for much of the year, at least. With their injuries, right?
They had their injuries. You had Forte out, which means you had the rookie running back come in.
Can't remember his name right now either.
Jeremy, whatever his name is.
Langford.
Jeremy Langford, who did relatively well. And obviously, Forte's gone.
Yeah, where's he gone?
We don't know. He's going to be free agent.
They're
not going to re-sign him. Yeah, so people are saying best fit for him would probably be the Patriots because he already came out and said it's not about the money. I want to win I want to win a ring. Right. So if he's willing to go to the Patriots, then fine.
And they'll pay him less money, and he'll go anyway.
Which is fine.
The Patriots, because you keep your coach.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So we saw Adam Gase 2 seasons ago have that record-breaking Denver offense where you had Manning able to throw the ball. Mm-hmm. What do you reckon? Can you see him working? Because you look at the you look at Dolphins and they've got the offensive weapons, even if you take out Tannehill.
It's unquestionable that Tannehill regressed this year.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, I think. At least didn't kick on as they wanted.
But I mean, all year you just kept reading about how they're not emphasizing the run enough. Lamar Miller's not involved enough. Blah,
and
blah,
we saw all the way through that if you did,
they won.
And it'll be interesting because Miller's a free agent this year.
Is he?
Yeah.
So do they invest in him or do they take the risk with the J? Yeah, with the bum knee.
With the bum knee, exactly. Who showed some good stuff.
He did. But I mean, from what we understand, it's like bone on bone, and could, at any time it could just go. Right?
Yeah,
so
pretty much. You're going to have him for 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I suppose if they let Miller go, they'd probably have to draft somebody to back up.
You'd think so.
J, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they got some weapons as well, right? They
Jarvis Landry.
I mean, there's a few other wide receivers.
Greg Jennings still
there. He's getting a bit old now, but still can catch the ball, obviously. Yeah, there's a few other guys too. They had the Cameron, is that the tight end?
Yep, Jordan Cameron.
Who didn't really click last year.
No.
I had him on one of my teams, and he was a big disappointment, I have to say.
No, I think, I mean, I would like to think that this is probably why they went out and got Gase, is they thought, okay, we've got a decent offense. Mm-hmm. Okay,
they went out and splashed out a bunch of cash last year, right?
They did, absolutely.
Mostly on defense, too. But
they got whatever his name is, Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah, exactly.
Who and actually, I read that the Dolphins are kind of screwed when it comes to the salary cap this season. So we'll see what they can do when it comes to re-signing Miller or something like that.
Well, no, I like the move. I mean, on paper, as little as I know about Gase, it seems like he can do something with this offense. Right?
No, I think so.
So I'm going to say it's a positive move.
Yeah.
Does it move the Dolphins into the playoffs? Well, it's a tough division.
It is a tough division.
There's always the Patriots in the bottom, right?
Yeah, and we saw this year the Jets as well. Mm-hmm. I can't see the Jets repeating it. I think Fitzy had a good season. I think Brandon Marshall, we always know Brandon Marshall has a great first season, and then he starts being a bit...
So, I mean, putting the Dolphins in the playoff potential, playoff position for sure.
Okay.
I like the move.
Giants. So they promoted their OC.
Yeah. Said goodbye to Tom Coughlin.
Said goodbye to Tom Coughlin. I guess here they're looking at continuity. Mm-hmm. So
they still have Eli, right?
They still have Eli, so why not give Eli? And Eli did well last year. I mean, they've got ODB.
Again,
they've got Larry Donnell.
Mm-hmm. Again, they have some weapons.
They could do with a running back, a functional running back.
They had a really ugly 3-headed monster last year.
They really did. There was no one you trust in fantasy at all. I don't think. I mean, passing down sometimes, but
under 16 team leagues, you couldn't start any giant running.
Good Lord, no.
So I don't know what they'll do with the running game. They have some weapons throwing it.
Victor Cruz might be back, but we don't know what state he's going to be in.
Yeah, well, he was supposed to be back this year.
Yeah, he was out it means he's been out for almost 2 seasons.
Right, so he could be back theoretically. But I think it's probably a good move with Eli sticking around for a few more years, right?
Yeah,
bring a guy in, or not bring a guy in. Promote the guy who's familiar with the system.
Yeah, and he was previously OC with the Packers for 2 years.
So he's offensive minded, obviously.
Sorry, not OC. I think he was quarterbacks and tight ends coach previously. But still, there, right? I mean, there's something there.
So I'm going to say I like the move. I hate the Giants, so I don't care.
Yeah, fine, fair enough. It's not one. That's the one for me that stands out as you just think, man.
Yeah, exactly. It was kind of time for Coughlin to leave.
Yeah, I think so.
I felt a little bad seeing him go, but yeah, I like the move.
I like the move. The thing with the Giants is, I'm not a fan of them, and it's not like I'm calling them a bad team, but they fucking lucked out on both those Super Bowls.
Yeah, they did.
Seriously.
Two lucky Super Bowls.
Two fucking lucky Super Bowls, and you go down in history. That's what kept him his job. Because if you take, it sounds ridiculous, but if you take away those two Super Bowl runs, it was an average team nearly every single year.
Yeah, below average even.
Yeah.
It's a 7-9 team.
It is, absolutely.
Except for those 2 years. Right?
Except for those 2 years. So, moving on. The
Staying
Eagles.
within the division. Yeah.
Staying within division, exactly.
NFC East. Too bad the Cowboys didn't do anything.
Anyway, exactly.
So, I got a new head coach named Doug Peterson.
Yeah.
I must say that he's a little less well-known than Chip Kelly.
Absolutely. He was previously Chiefs offensive coordinator for the last 2 seasons.
Oh, that's why I've never heard of him. He was a Chiefs offensive coordinator.
But what does that show? It means we're probably going to be looking at the running game.
Yeah. I mean, you don't think about the Chiefs when you think about the offense, but their running game is pretty impressive, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, does it mean...
Whoever came in was fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to have to sort out that offensive line.
Yeah, one time we thought it was the running back, right? But then they had there's 2 guys who came cycling through.
Yeah, exactly. They had
Ware and Chakandrick. Yeah,
Chakandrick West.
It didn't matter who came in, it seemed that they got 100 yards.
No,
right?
exactly. It was ridiculous.
So you got to say...
I don't know if any... Well, maybe there has been a team, but I think each of those 3 and plus
had multiple 100-yard
had
games.
multiple 100-yard games. So you've had maybe 3 running backs with multiple 100-yard games.
And Jamal Charles was around for 5 games?
Yeah, something like that. And so you expect him to have got
probably
200 total.
Games,
it's ridiculous.
Sure. Yeah, and then Ware and Chakandrick all had 100-yard games.
And you've got the running backs. You've got the similar thing. You've got good running backs theoretically there. You've got DeMarco Murray that's still there. Mm-hmm. Whether he's going to stick around, I don't know. Mm-hmm. You've got Ryan Matthews there, and you've got Darren Sproles.
Yeah, so you have a 3-headed beast.
Three-headed beast. So maybe they're going to go power running game.
Power running, yeah. So get away from the Kelly weirdness.
And maybe Ryan Matthews is...
old school,
and here maybe Matthews takes a boost because, as we can see, all of those players, all of those running backs in KC, they love passing out of the back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. I like the move without knowing much about Peterson.
No.
It seems, again, on paper, a smart move. I mean, you take the circus out of town and you bring in... I don't know how to replace the circus with something that's a standard running game.
You take out the circus and you bring in
metaphor,
a management consultancy.
Yeah, kind of.
Something like that.
So it seems to make sense. I hope it crashes and burns because it's the NFC East, of course.
Fine.
But yeah, I like it. I can see the Eagles doing something. I mean,
yeah, me too.
It'll be interesting to see how Murray reacts.
I think so.
I mean,
whether he sticks or
exactly. I mean, I'm assuming that he's got a long-term contract, so he's getting paid, right?
I would expect so. Yeah, at least 2 or 3 seasons.
So yeah, it'll be an interesting juggle. Let's say juggling act.
Yeah.
Peterson.
Let's go. I want to keep the most interesting till last. So let's skip for now on to the Bucks.
All right.
And look at their new one. So they've got Dirk Cutter in.
Mm-hmm.
Who was Dirk Cutter? Diggity. So he took over from Lovie Smith. I was surprised Lovie Smith got canned, to be honest.
Yeah, but Lovie's never done much, has he?
No.
He's one of those guys that you like, but then you look at his teams, and I mean, for the Bears, they did all right.
Yeah.
But I don't think they were ever anything special, were they? I mean, did they make the playoffs? I don't remember. So I like Lovie Smith as a head coach.
He was only there for the season, wasn't he?
In Tampa?
2 seasons.
2
seasons.
When you have a
2 and 14 and
season.
6 and 10.
So it was an improvement.
Finished 4th twice.
Mm-hmm. So they did make the playoffs with Chicago a couple of times, eh?
3 times.
Yeah, so he did have some decent teams. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Lovie Smith being replaced, I mean, he did improve 4 games, right?
Right, exactly.
He had a rookie quarterback.
Who showed some good
potential.
stuff.
Seemed like
Doug Martin was back last season and really hit it really nicely.
Yeah, they had 2 great wide receivers.
Doug Martin's free agent as well. And he wants to get paid.
And he will. I get paid after last year, I think.
You think so, yeah.
So yeah, replacing Lovie, interesting choice just to replace him, period, right?
Yeah.
And who's coming in? Cutter.
So Cutter's coming in. I can't remember how. I haven't got the stats, but you know, the Bucks, they had an interesting offense. They've definitely got people to throw it to.
Mm-hmm. Well, that Austin Safarian...
Also, Austin Safarian-Jenkins, I presume he'll be back. VJax, we don't know. He's another year old.
God, yeah, he does seem like one of those guys that could be 106, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He could be just gone one year. But yeah, I'm assuming they'll have a decent offense, right? And so, Cutter, I don't know too much about, except for his name sounds cool. But I don't know. I question the move as well.
Yeah.
I'm not too sold on it. I mean, the question would be what kind of mind does Cutter have?
Right. I mean, I think we saw that he's happy to let Jameis throw it around. Plus, also, there you go, Mike Evans as well. You've got, but we can see in terms of their lead point scorers from fantasy. Martin was probably take out Jameis Winston, but Doug Martin, even Charles Sims got quite a few. He got 1,000 total yards last season, 4 touchdowns. And then after that, you really don't have much. You've got Vincent Jackson, you've got Austin
he was in and out of the
Jenkins.
lineup, though. Jenkins was in and out of the lineup.
So you got to think they're going to be wanting to pay Doug Martin, because if he goes, I mean, who the fuck do they have?
Yeah, besides Sims, right? Who's not,
exactly.
He doesn't seem like an every down back.
No,
right?
And you can't rely just on Mike Evans. And then, you've really got a bunch of Jags after that. You've got, Brandon Myers, tight end, Dante Dye, wide receiver, Lewis Murphy, who got maximum, got 200 yards in total.
No, they're going to need those twin towers healthy, Evans and Jackson, right?
Yeah.
They're going to rely on Winston taking another step forward. Which I think he could do. He looked
good. I mean, yeah, absolutely. More touchdowns than interceptions, which was going to be the question about what was he going to do. Threw for 4,000 yards.
So what's Cutter done in the past? How is his
thing? Let's have a look. So NFL head coaching record, nothing.
Nothing, of course.
Fine. He was previously he was a Falcons OC for 2 seasons.
Okay.
Which and who did you have there? I mean, we saw you had Ryan, you had Julio Jones, you had Roddy White, you had Tony Gonzalez still then. So if you give him the weapons, he can do something.
So he was the OC last year with the Bucks, though, right?
He was OC last year with the Bucks. Previously, he was 2 seasons, and then previously he was OC at the Jags.
Okay. So I did. I mean, have you noticed all these guys are OCs? Yeah, this year. Last year, there's a lot of defensive coordinators taking over jobs.
Absolutely.
This year, it's more of offensive guys. Right?
Yeah, and so there's only one that's previously been a head coach as well.
So, I mean, if you're going to replace Lovie Smith, I liked, I guess, the move promoting from within, again, because you got a rookie quarterback. You don't want to change the system too much, right?
Exactly.
If they re-sign Doug Martin, consistency, I like the potential.
Sure. Plus, the other thing I heard was that the reason that they got rid of Lovie Smith wasn't that they didn't necessarily like him. They were worried, actually, that Dirk Cutter is the next big name for a head coaching post.
Okay. Somebody was going to...
So they were worried someone was going to nab him. And actually they left it late. No one came up, but they thought if we don't tie him down now, we could lose our opportunity at a very good coach. So what we might find is that this year's a little too early. They weren't ready to get rid of Lovie Smith. That's why there was kind of a bit of this hoo-ha about, well, is it unfair to can Lovie after he's actually seen an improvement? Right. He's done nothing wrong. But that hearing sort of whispers and stuff like that, that's the reason they got rid of him, is that they like Cutter so much. They didn't want to risk losing him later on.
So don't be surprised in the 6-10 season.
Not the 6-10 season, but then next season. So this might be a building year. So he can draft his own play. He can draft his players that he wants.
Towards something.
Yeah.
It's a crazy division they're in. You never know with the Saints and Falcons if they're going to.
At the moment, no. I mean, Dan Quinn, you've got it. Yeah.
Of course, the Panthers, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it'll be an interesting one. I guess I like the move. Meh again. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
Now the big one, right?
Now the big one. This is the only one where you've got one head coach going from one team to another, and that's Chip Kelly to the Niners.
Yeah, the replacement of Jim Tomsula.
The carpet salesman.
The experiment that didn't quite
work. That talk about throwing a guy under the bus.
Yeah,
my life. That was an absolute tire fire of a season. It was painful to watch.
Yeah,
and
do you
Chip
remember
Kelly.
I mean, we've mentioned this before, but I mean, it's so weird to think like the first game of the season, right? The Niners destroying the Cowboys, right? Was that this year?
The Vikes, no, they played the Vikes.
Yeah, so that was last year.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago. That was 2 years ago. No, we played the Vikes at the in Santa Clara.
Okay.
And won. I think it wasn't even that close.
But you beat the Vikings handily.
We beat the Vikings handily. That was the first game, and then after that, it all went to shit. So this one has, I guess, probably it's got the risk to be very, very interesting.
Yeah.
But also, it could be an absolute dumpster fire if it goes wrong.
This is the big hit and miss. I mean, you're right. Of all of these things, this is the most interesting.
It's going to make it interesting. I think. Yeah, Hugh Jackson, I think, is going to be interesting, but maybe not this season. Chip Kelly is going to be interesting this season to see what he's going to do. Because if you look at the team we've got, it's not set up particularly for his type of offense. So
it's not exactly stacked with offensive firepower.
And especially not young ones.
No, I mean, when you look at the lineup, when I'm just going through my head, I mean, there is guys like Bolden.
Right. Torrey Smith.
He's got to be 106 years old, too.
Torrey Smith 34, is so Torrey Smith. Exactly. Carlos Hyde should be back.
Is he going to be healthy? Yeah.
Don't know. And then on the bench, you've got someone like Reggie Bush, who's, ACL at the age of 31 or 32.
Yeah, exactly. So there is some guys there, but there's not much.
There's not. It is very thin. Tight end, we've got Vance McDonald or Garrett Selleck. I mean, there's really not.
They're replaceable.
Offensively, we are. Oh God, it's painful looking at that offense.
So what are they going to do with Kaepernick? Is the big question.
That's the question. The common theory would be that the reason, because previously he actually tried to trade for Kaepernick to get him to come to Philly.
Okay.
Or really like the idea of Kaepernick in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
So
running quarterback.
However, okay, so on the upside, you've got Kaepernick. You've got a mobile quarterback that likes to run, that has got a hell of an arm on him.
Yeah, it's got some strength, that's for sure.
But decision making is often very poor.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so maybe you need to make a very simple offense for him, I think, which is what we didn't have over the last couple of seasons, especially under Harbaugh. You saw him not being able to do it. Like, he got confused.
Couldn't get the play in.
So many early timeouts and stuff like that. So that, I think that's an issue. So maybe we need to simplify that. On the downside, he's been absolutely, blackballed by the management.
Okay.
They put him on season. Yeah, blame him for anything. Put him on season-ending IR. He got taken over by Blaine Gabbert, etc., etc., etc. So does he want to come back and still play for the 49ers?
Right.
The other thing is that if you look at Blaine Gabbert last year, he's actually sneakily mobile.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we know that Chip Kelly likes whites rather than black people. It's a joke. But it's not, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion saying that if we want a mobile quarterback, it's necessarily got to be Kaepernick.
Mm-hmm.
What might happen is that going in, we might have this fucking quarterback controversy saying it's still up for grabs, which I hate going into training camp. I fucking hate it.
But Kaepernick's not under contract right now.
He is under contract. Yeah, he is under contract. So they could cut him, or they could try and swap him for something else.
So it is going to be a controversy.
So it is going to be a controversy. The other option is they could try and draft someone. You're going to have someone like Jared Goff still there.
There's a few guys around, right?
But he's not mobile.
Yeah.
He's 6'8", has a cannon of an arm, I think. Very good decision making, but not mobile.
Yeah, from what I've seen, there's like 3 or 4 decent quarterbacks this year who all could be the guy, but nobody's surefire.
But I think if you look at what the 49ers need, they desperately need a wide receiver.
Yeah.
We don't have any young wide receivers that I haven't got the stats off the top of my head, but it's not looking great.
Yeah, they gave up on the Crabtree experiment.
And then he did so well at LA, at Oakland. I mean, you've got, so Gabbert, Phil Dawson,
Yeah, Bolden
and Torrey Smith, but neither of them got 800 yards or over 4 touchdowns.
God, Torrey Smith is so awful. He's sitting on my fantasy team still with our keeper league.
Only
4 touchdowns. That's
only 16 passing touchdowns all season.
Yeah.
Which is just, it's horrendous. It's absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, you're right. Those aren't bad stats for Gabbert. 170 to 282. What's that for completion percentage? That's almost relatively high.
It's almost 60%. Yeah, 60%, something like that.
Yeah, anyway. 10 to 7 TD interception ratio. Runs a bit, like you said.
185 yards rushing on 32 rushes. Yeah. On, I think, I don't know how many games. Yeah, something like that.
So that's not too bad.
It's not the end of the world. Only 1 fumble.
I mean, coming over, he was in Jacksonville before, right?
Yeah.
I didn't really have much faith in.
No, he really did well. He didn't do well.
But he could be something.
Yeah, there's really nobody. You got so Sean Drawn came in, who was an absolute nobody.
Running back,
came in and did okay.
Yeah, he had a decent game too. Right?
He had some yardage wise, yes, touchdowns. He only ever got the 1 touchdown. But then you're going down to someone like Quinton Patton. And after that, you've got Jerome Simpson, Bruce Ellington,
Kendall Gaskins,
Brandon Lloyd, Kasim Osgood.
Jared Hayne. What happened to that experiment?
Well, he wants to come back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he really wants to come back.
He's the Australian rules.
He's the rugby league. Yeah.
Rugby league. All right.
Yeah. So this one, I think, has the upside of if it works, it might work. But if it doesn't,
I think they were kind of left with no choice but to roll the dice.
Yeah, I think so.
After the year they had last year, and with Chip Kelly being available, I guess I like the move just because there is a 50% chance it'll be successful. Right?
Yeah, and I think at least Chip Kelly's much better in front of the media than Tom Sula.
Yeah.
It's not like they didn't interview other people. I knew they interviewed Gase. I think they interviewed Jackson as well, but they didn't want to go. So there's a question. I mean, it's a poisonous bloody franchise at the moment. The ownership,
playing
that bloody
Jed
York, playing in a poisonous town. Oh yeah, God, you saw that? What did you see that email? The official letter from this tech guy?
No.
Oh, he's some fucking tech wanker and he wrote a letter to the mayor of San Francisco, essentially saying, "I'm pissed off with having to see all these poor people."
Oh, okay. I did see something on my Facebook feed this morning.
Yeah.
I think it was an onion thing. I actually saw.
No, that's the thing. It wasn't actually an onion thing.
Really?
No, it's actually real. It's actually real. This guy he wrote an open letter.
I'm really angry that I'm making $1 million a year and that rents have gone up by 5,000% because
Pretty
of
much.
people like me and nobody can afford a house.
Pretty much. Yeah. Anyway, so that's the head coaches. Let's spend a little bit of time, 10 minutes or so, looking at maybe some of the picks of 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Let's cut it close here.
All right, so 5 minutes. A number of new head coaches in terms of, or a number of OCs. OCs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11 new OCs.
Wow.
Which is a hell of a lot. None of these particularly you think, nah, that's going to be interesting. Maybe 2 to pick out, I think, would be Ken Wisenhunt at the Chargers, who was head coach last year at the Titans and got canned. But he's actually going back to the Chargers where he was OC for a couple of years when they had that, I think, decent number 2 or number 3 offense. So you had, players are a bit different. Phillip Rivers is a bit older.
It is, and it's going to be San Diego again this year, right? Which is...
For the moment, this season's going to be San Diego, yeah.
It's another season of will they stay, will they not stay, overshadowed by, again, where your home is going to be.
Yeah.
I don't like the Chargers situation, period. Wisenhunt, I don't like. What can I say?
No, exactly.
I guess, go to what's familiar. It's not a bad move. He's got a past with Rivers, and he's done well. So, all right. Again, it's another meh, if you ask me. Another meh. I like the Kansas City...
This is a weird one. They've got co-offensive coordinators.
Yeah, so they replaced the guy who went to head coach.
Yeah, Peterson went to, so Peterson went.
And they replaced him with a two-headed monster.
Yeah, they were both at the Chiefs for the last 2 years. One of them, Brad Childress, was previously the spread game analyst. Whatever the hell that is. From 2013 to 15. And then Matt Nagy, who was the quarterback's coach for the same period. So you've got some weird two-headed...
So you often have problems with who's going to be calling the plays between the head coach and the offensive coordinator. Right. Here you have the head coach and 2 offensive coordinators. Who's calling the plays? So do
you think one of them, the spread game analyst, might be the play caller and the other one will actually be the on-the-field coach?
I'm going to guess they're going to do something like that. One guy's going to be in charge of calling game.
And the other one will be actually in charge of the actual coaching.
Perhaps, yeah.
Because he's also staying as quarterback's coach. Nagy's staying as quarterback's coach.
It's an experiment that could work. I mean, I guess you're saying here that the head coach is not going to be part of the offense. Reed's going to just be doing something else.
You'd think so.
And so you got 2 guys here that will...
Well, he's already said that, actually. I think Reed has said because there were some issues with some of his calling in that playoff game.
So this is... I've never seen it before, but it could work.
It could work. The other one, finally, the last one to maybe pick out is an unknown, got someone I don't know, is the 49ers again. They've picked out Curtis Modkins, who was previously the running backs coach at the Lions. Which is a weird one, because if you look at the Lions running backs, I mean, it's really...
They had the rookie last year, what the heck was his name? God, I'm forgetting everything already. Who didn't really seem to have much of a year. God, yeah, why would you pick up a guy I've never heard of?
Detroit running backs coach.
He didn't really seem to do that well.
It's the
Niners, right?
It's the Niners. Who did you have? You had Amir Abdullah.
And Theo Riddick.
Joik Bell.
So, I mean, very successful at throwing the ball to the running back out of the backfield.
Yeah. Especially Riddick. So maybe this is what they want to get. They want to get the best out of Hyde.
Perhaps, yeah.
Because who does like catching?
What's his name who was with the knee?
Reggie Bush, who was previously there last year.
Oh, God, yeah. Strange move.
It is a bit of a weird one.
It's the Niners.
It's Niners.
I think they're just flipping a coin again, right?
Pretty much.
You need to have somebody, a warm body to fill the position, I suppose.
Right? I suppose so. Anyway, we'll leave it there for today. And maybe we'll come back and poison your ears in a week or so and talk about... maybe after the Combine we'll do something.
We'll find a
few minutes. Definitely before the draft.
All right, dude.
Cool. So for now, it's goodbye from me.
I'm Shane.
And I'm Sam.
Bye.
Bye.